as Asia Mutimano, who is your host this morning. About to start, and today's subject, it is illegal foreigners. What do you know about illegal foreigners? How did they get to the country in South Africa right now? What do we do to get illegal foreigners to be legal? And what are the solutions that are on the tables that are there actually to help those that are illegal? How are they a burden to the country? What can the country do to make sure that these illegals become legal? Now, if the solution is to deport them, how expensive deportation is, So I have Mustafa on the line, who wanted also to come on. Thank you so much for wanting to come. But again, I'm trying now to put people on. Just make a sign if you want to. Mr. Ledum, you are on the panel. Please, it is your time to speak. What is your take on how, when you look at the stats and how expensive it's gonna get, what solutions do you offer when you look at this?
Hello. I would like to say this. Yeah. You see, in a situation like that, we have to cut the expenses low. And I know some people, some illegal foreigners to say, especially the blacks, many of them, they decided not to be legalized. And it's of a truth that they took advantage of the situation of the citizen, which is not right. But I would like to say there should be given opportunity for people to be legalized. Then for people that refuse to follow up the process, either because of any reason they may have choose by letting down the country or the government or the people, then they will be there with, but in the angle of deportation. That issue is basically based on the government. It is the government that will release money that can enact such a situation. Any citizen can say mass deportation, they should all go away, all those type of story. It will never work that way because it has to do with money, as I said. You see, and who is going to bring that money? Is it the private sector that is benefiting from that thing, which have the power, the financial power to support the government to enact that thing? No, they will not do that. So every citizen, everybody shouting about complaining about deportation, I don't see it's going to work that way because it has to do with finance. So the private sector is not going to support it. The government itself is not going to invest that kind of money into it because it's a wasteful expenditure. As I explained, someone you deported tomorrow is back in because definitely that's how it's going to be. So you'll be going back and forth, back and forth. That is not a good plan. So I think they should be given an opportunity to be legalized. I think that is the only way. Because it's a situation that is already being damaged. So if you take it too hard, you are going to lose more. It's going to cost you. And the bilateral agreement, relationship with other countries will fall away. I think the citizen should look into that, especially the black citizen. Because what makes a country is your relationship, your bilateral agreement, a relationship with other countries. Immediately that is affected, your economy will fail, and all of you will become a stranger also in another country. We try to look into the future, not what is happening now, and the advantage we can get from such a thing. Things have been damaged. Let's agree like that. Influx in the country is already done because of the political style and where everything started from. So we can go back. We can go back and take a look at that, but we can make a plan now how to sort it out. And another thing is that there are government of those countries. You understand? Are you getting me? The government of those countries where those immigrants came from, they must reach out to them to support, to try to create a program a training program financially to support those citizens in this country, their embassies, to support them financially for maybe for a training or for some opportunities. I think that will be another way to help solve that problem.
About that. You just learn what you want to learn. And sometimes you learn stupid things that actually do people don't actually even need in companies, because you already told yourself, I'm in my country, I don't need to go anywhere. And I think that's the position that many South African brothers and sisters are in. They're in that comfortable zone to say, I'm home, I'm
Okay.
entitled. This is my home. Is it
Okay.
unfair for them to feel like that?
It's not unfair, but let me say this. In Indonesia, because I've traveled to Indonesia, when anybody come out of the country to come and open a business in Indonesia, do you know what the government will say to them? You can come and open your company here, but you cannot employ nobody unless the Indonesian citizen. So don't you think that is the responsibility of the government to tell these people that South African people should be first?
All right.
You cannot employ, excuse me, please. You cannot employ anybody first after the South African people. And you, even as a white person, when you build, sorry guys, I think mute, please. So when you want to open any business in any country, you should consider the citizen first. When you put the citizen first, any other person can come second. So why do you think that these people that come to open this company in South Africa are not employing are not putting the South African people needs first? What is the reason?
Hi everybody. Can I ask a question? Sorry for interfering.
No, she can. She can go ahead and answer. I'll come back later.
Hi Mixed Luxury. If you don't mind me asking, where are you currently?
That's personal. Just answer the question, please.
You see, this is the weird part about people who speak like you. You are so much on this personal issue, yet you are into this thing of wanting Africa to be like Asian countries. Africa is Africa.
No, I did not want
You see,
Africa to be like
there you go.
Asia country.
You keep making examples of Asian countries and Western countries. That's the problem with you. You forget about Africa. We are talking about Africa. We are not talking about out there. We don't care about America. We are talking about Africa. This involves Africa. The problem is that all of you don't listen. South Africans are not saying they hate outsiders. South Africans are having problems that they are saying they just want the illegals to go so they can see the way forward. What is it so hard to actually think about that? Why would you as a person say that no, the citizens should be put first when you know in your own country you are not put first by the government? Why is it different that South Africa needs to accept that while you guys don't accept that? In your own countries, you run away from your countries to go and seek a better life out there. But at the same time, when South Africans speak, you'll have a problem. You'll think that South Africans are crazy, they are against you. South Africans are not against you. They are against the illegal things that are happening. They are against the illegal foreigners. Not everyone. We all have friends that are foreigners. And we cool with them because we know they have papers. Why is it that you guys never want to listen? We want solutions. Solutions are what we are asking for, but none of you are listening. You keep having the same issues. Everyone, when they're listening to their country name and be like, yeah, you said this about my country. You said this about my country. You're saying your work is where you're staying right now is personal, yet you're discussing South Africa. How is that? How is that common sense? Does
It
that
is
make
a
sense
common
to you?
sense because I was invited here, darling. So I have my own opinion.
That's what I am trying to tell you, that you were invited. I was invited too. I am speaking about
Exactly.
something that hurts me personally, that involves me personally. You cannot speak on something from the outside and think you know everything just because the media tells you what they want you to know. You don't know what we're going through. You have no idea what is happening every day, day in and out in this country. You have no idea. And most of us are not blaming certain countries. We are just saying that let the illegals leave so we will know a way forward. Is that so hard for you guys to understand? This is one thing that I think all of us we have a problem with. Why do we keep going back to the conversation about the government? We know every African government is useless. We know that. We know they are failing us. We know they are failing us. This is why South Africa is taking things into their hands. If you think about it, do you guys know that the word Zeno was just created for South Africans? Do you know that the word Zeno never existed anyway until that certain time? Don't you think that's orchestrated? Don't you think there's someone who is making this up? I don't know anyone who was involved in the Zeno attacks, but I have foreign friends, a lot of foreign friends, but I don't know any of them being attacked because that means that it only happened in certain parts. South Africa is so big; it's so full of what do you call it? Of a lot of provinces. Why do you guys take what media tells you? The media is bad. The media stats, they're even wrong. But you guys are not listening. All of you keep complaining about the minor things. Kids every day out there, we see them. We see what's happening to them. People are being robbed and people are saying it's mostly South Africans while it's not.
You know, as let me put it this way: a 60-year-old, yeah, you come to South Africa, you bring all your family, you bring a 60-year-old. What is the 60-year-old going to do in South Africa? Definitely, that person will not be able to work. Definitely, that person is old enough, has got some health issues, and that person hasn't contributed any penny in the country because he or she already 60 years of age. We need people that are able to contribute to the country for the country to go forward. We need someone that is able to contribute to the country. Come with your skills in the country, we will help you. No, it's too much, guys.
Good morning, and good morning to everyone on the panel. Look,
Morning, my brother.
Cool. Look, man, okay, cool. I've been with you guys. So, and look, I'm a foreign national as well. I wanna try and let's think differently. Let's put emotions aside. Let's try and put ourselves in South African shoes and walk a mile. Okay. And look at things on their side and what's really happening. I can tell you, I've challenged you. There is no country in Africa that do not have the same laws that South Africa has. 2 of my cousins were deported from Zimbabwe. We had to send money. They were in Zimbabwe, exceeded their days, and they were deported to the DRC. I've got a guy that was deported from Tanzania. I know. These laws are everywhere in Africa. Okay, why is it that when South Africans want to apply the same laws that we've got in our countries, then we call them xenophobic? I'm not saying I'm taking sides. I'm just trying to think. I came in this country. Personally, I slept for 7 days. Yesterday, we were talking about it with a friend of mine. We slept for 7 days at Marabastad, trying to, every single day, mind you, we slept there just to get our asylum seekers. And eventually got those asylum seekers. We didn't stop there because I knew from where I was working as a car guard. From where I came from, I did not do anything in line with that. From there, I went on and studied, and eventually I finished up, and I've got an ID, South African ID, legally, by the way. So, what I'm trying to say is this: let's make. I cannot tell you. There's no one that can say that he wants to go back to their country. South Africa is stopping him. That's wrong to say that because there was a time where I lost my passport. I had to go to my embassy and say to them, I need to go to the DRC to make another passport. They gave me a travel document. How can I want to go home and I don't go to my embassy and tell them I want to go home? They will definitely, if you want to go home, you will go home. The problem is people have gotten lazy. We have to put it in every single way. If I were to be, you'll go. I was in the DRC not long ago. People are complaining that Chinese are taking jobs there. They want Chinese to go back to their countries. I saw Chinese arrested. because they were not having documents in there. Why are we trying to say that South African is xenophobic? That's the one thing that I say no. I understand that this thing was fueled by politicians because they're using it. To get South Africans into their bags so that they can go for their vote. But these laws have been there all along. I was arrested in 2007. I went to Lindela because I'd lost my asylum seeker. These laws were there. The problem is politics are using these laws to try and push their agendas to go forward. But the bigger thing that what I'm trying to say to you in terms of jobs, I'm going to be very much short and go. The big thing that's happening right now, South Africans are not looking at it because they're pushing their ideas. You cannot live in Cape Town right now. Why? Because you can be a data analyst working in the United States where they pay you 6,000. Rent in the United States is 3,500. You can't afford to live there, but you can work we can work remotely. They live in Cape Town. To such a person, they can pay 10,000, 24,000 rand for rent. That they won't mind. That's where the job is going. It's not don't listen to politicians that tell you that foreigners are taking jobs. It's not. South Africans do not need car guard jobs. South Africans do not need garden boys jobs. As a politician, if we have to promise South African jobs, it has to be jobs where you can tax them so that the government can make money out of it. You can go to France, you never find French people doing garden jobs. That's for foreigners because they come there unskilled. Those are not jobs that South Africans should be crying for. South Africans should be taking jobs in the banks. South Africans should be taking proper jobs where government can get tax out of it. You don't get tax out of a garden boy. You're not helping the government by saying that you're chasing foreigners so you can take the garden boy. Why are you helping the government? South Africans should help and push the government to create jobs that the government should be able to tax on in order to increase their GDP. And that's, I'm going to be very much short. Thank you so much. And I'm not sure if I took a lot of time talking there. But that was just me thinking. And thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, my brother. Normally, I'm not the person who waits so long. Everybody, I'm greeting everybody here. Thank you for giving me a chance. And I'm telling you, I'm from Namibia. I'm based in Germany. I came here when I was a small girl, and I'm married to a German. And I'm telling you, and then even when you come to Africa, in Africa, this one is just doing it, taking a job, doing that. I'm telling you what you are do. If you are a black person, you've been with a German, or even I'm married to a German, I go through a lot. And I think African, we have to protect each other. It's what I want to say. Sorry, I can't speak so good in English because I've been here so long. And I think the world is going crazy now. The world is going crazy, and the politics, they are lying on us. The only people who are just happy, they are only themselves who are sitting there in parliament. Everywhere, even in Germany, they want to. I never say that the politics can be crazy like the way we are now. The white people, they are going because now there's no money. They're going and saying we have to pay tax. If you are working in this country, you are like you just destroy yourself. And then I just want to say, like, I think the world is getting crazy. We have to start praying. I don't know what we can do. We never change. Yeah. It's I don't know. But thank you for giving me a chance. But it's fine. I'm just when we come, like when somebody come, when the one thing that they telling us we are in their country and you are taking job. Although even when you come here as a small kid, you've been working. In our African, we are in the other country, in the African country, and I don't know.
Hey, good morning. How are you? Can't complain. I'm speaking from East Africa, particularly in Kenya. Much as I also have roots of South Africa. I've always been saying, and in different occasions, being given the platform to talk about this topic, I still need to reiterate. I think particularly are still having the deeply rooted issues of the structural apartheid system, and we should really be mindful of the instilling on the hate between black on black. Some of the things that are happening, I know for my country in South Africa, it could be very at large scale, but I think it's not really peculiar to South Africa. There's still going to be patterns of illegal migrants, but at the same time, let's be mindful of the legal ones who are actually bringing in foreign exchange, bringing in job opportunities and investment. It's the same how South Africa is really benefiting in terms of investment in African countries. Tell me of a country where South Africa has not had its economic companies, from DSTV to the likes of Game, much as most of them have closed down, and network companies, the Vodacoms, the MTNs, and so forth. I really wouldn't want to zoom it in terms of black on black, rather holding the government accountable. I'm repeating it. Citizens of Africa, let's hold our systems, our governments accountable. They are our biggest downfall. We are where we are right now, much as there's relatively development at a large scale in terms of the African continent, but the government is really letting us down with sick policies, with corruption, with indirect massive theft, That's why there's the whole crisis of illegal migrants who actually, some of them are in the government are benefiting from. How about really, 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 really say enough is enough? If we are going to come up with policies, then let's follow them stringently and hold them accountable in terms of what does the foreign policy say about illegal migrants. What is the domestic policy of protecting a local South African or a local Zimbabwean or a local Kenyan or a local Tanzanian? For instance, there's a modality in Kenya I really love, whereby, generally, I think a third of the Kenyan economy is derived from the likes of deployment of the United Nations, being an HQ in yes. So you find there's a stringent measure. There are some opportunities you can never find any other person being recruited for besides a Kenyan, and they really are followed to a North Korean way, very stringent. You understand when I say North Korean way? Exactly. Extreme, exactly. So how about we borrow live North Korea version for South Africa, for countries that are facing illegal immigrants that are actually becoming a thorn. I understand the aspect of illegal migrants increasing crime, but let's be truthful, my dearest South Africans. We cannot fully blame Nigerians or Zimbabweans. We are also having our own skeletons, our own troubles that are still deeply rooted to our history, something that we do not want to talk about. And I'm actually worried if we continue looking at our brothers and sisters as enemies, and should they retaliate and say, okay, if this is the case, then pack your things, remove your MTNs, remove your whatever. You're forgetting South Africa is receiving indirectly GDP increment in terms of investment in elsewhere Africa. We are needing each other. No man is an island. We need Africa just how Africa needs us. Hence why there's a whole AU membership, much as AU is a whole another debatable entity. So this some of the difficult conversations we should really sit down and reflect before we point out external factors. I think black on black is an external factor. There's still some deeply rooted issues that we still need to tackle. We still need to really have that difficult conversation. But most importantly, holding governments accountable.
Good morning to you guys. How are you? I'm okay, and how are you? Yes, sir. I grew up in South Africa in the old Transkei. It's a place that is called now Eastern Cape. We had a lot of legal immigrants that were coming from countries like Ghana and other parts of Africa that were teachers. Some were our teachers. They've contributed positively to our growth as a country, and we never had any problem. We're quite distinct, and some of them have got houses all over South Africa because that's what we came here to do, to contribute to our education system. And one thing that I've noticed is that over the years, I would say from 1994, ever since we declared democracy in South Africa, we've been receiving an influx of illegal immigrants that are coming out of the country. And not that they are wrong, but because I think Amandla has captured me very well when she referred to government not taking responsibility for their citizens, because that's why now they decide to migrate to other countries. It's because of the economic situation in their countries, and they're looking for greener pastures, and which is well understood. And people are allowed to move, across the world. They are allowed to migrate to another nation. But my issue now is that I blame also my government in South Africa for not putting laws in place, strict laws to say that this is how we deal with foreign policies, this is how we deal with immigration laws and stuff like that, to ensure that, and also corruption that exists within our departments, where officials are being bribed to process, application for citizenship and stuff like that. So without even checking if this person is actually coming in South Africa to do business accordingly. So our strict as we, because I'm based now in East London, which is Eastern Cape, our stricts, the people that are standing on the robots, most of them are foreign immigrants, So we look at situations like that okay, now they came to South Africa and looking for greener pastures, which is not wrong. But now, if these people are going to stand on the robots, using kids, small kids, to beg, those kids are not even enrolled in schools, Just imagine that child is supposed to be in school, but it's being used to beg just because that child doesn't have proper documentation, I was taken aback on the other day when I saw this people. I said to myself, you know what? If our government can just be lenient to say, let us understand the situation of these kids, because now they are here, especially at basic level. But now these kids, if they can be given a proper registration and be enrolled into schools, so that they don't they don't become exposed to such hardships from the younger age. Because now we have another problem now of the next generation that is going to be standing on the robots, because they are going to learn the same thing from their parents. So yeah, so just to close, I'm for the immigrants to come to South Africa, but I'm saying that they must be properly registered. They must follow the necessary processes. We've got our problems as a country, and I would not like to deposit my problems to people that are coming out of the country. We're supposed to do better. We're supposed to know better. as a country to be accommodative and understand that these are our fellow Africans and they have got countries, but also their countries, they need to do better in ensuring that their citizens are well catered for. That is my 2 cents contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. One thing that I'm thinking right now is like taking 2 sick people and putting them in the same room, expecting them to heal. In South Africa, like there's a sickness, and that sickness started when that first boat from whatever Europe landed in Africa. Because what happened is, it's like they were using some mutu or some whatever what they were using to divide us. Remember, we used to take care of your neighbor's child, but after those segregation and things like that, everyone is thinking of himself of himself. He doesn't like the neighbor doesn't matter anymore. Your brother, you can even kill your brother, not knowing it's your brother is from Zimbabwe, or your parents did some things somewhere, and then you are related. What I want to say is, take two people that are hurt, like South Africans are badly hurt, Zimbabwean are badly hurt. Those 2 people, combine them together and then put them in one room. What good is it gonna come out of that thing? Nothing. It's all mindset. We've been programmed by some things that we don't even know. Like, if I say maybe it would rule some other people's day, like Christianity, like hello, like they tell you something that is in your heart, love your brother and your but they write it on a piece of paper so that people could go to the church and things like that, while the serious problem are in the family lineage and family problem. Do you understand? But to make it to finish quickly is to say, not everyone is fighting, but we are ahead. Like we are ahead because what is happening to us and our children who are coming. What kind of a place are they going to stay in if you don't fix this thing right now? Do you understand? It's very bad right now. I can't go out, like walk and go to the garage. I'll be going sideways, watching who's like following me and who's coming. And then you can't prophesy that it's a Nigerian or a Zimbabwean or South African who's following. You understand? That's why we're like, it's only our mindset. If you can take our mindset and fix ourselves first, and then the other person who will take care of themselves, or we help them in some other cases, I think it would make a better place for people to live. Yeah, thank you.
Sir, I have no comment about the government. You guys always want to pin me with the government. I tell you people, those people are useless. How many times do I have to tell you that there is nothing we can do? And you know that we cannot deport these people without the government. You see? Do you understand? Regardless of how much I would comment, there is no comment, because either way, we are chopped, and you know the other word. So I have no comment on it. I cannot. The government, for me, I'm done with them. Every African country has its problem with its government. But one thing about South Africans, if we stand up, we know that they try and just fix something small. That's one thing that I feel like if everyone does this in their countries, then Africa will become one. But because people are still running away from their countries, not wanting to fix their problems, but yet still wanting to complain about what South Africans are doing, we will never go anywhere. We'll never be one Africa. That's the one thing that we should understand. One Africa will never happen, and especially if people want to be one Africa in South Africa. That's one thing. It will never happen because South Africans are already suffering a lot. There's a lot of jobs that are being taken. There's a lot of doctors to be, but they're not working. I'm sorry to change the topic, but think about it. There's a lot of students have finished studying, but they don't get jobs because jobs in private sectors are already taken by outsiders. That's so scary that a kid could go to school for 4 to 7 years for nothing, just for them to sit at home, just for them to be called Eustace. How is that making sense? When is people going to realize that, listen, go and fix your own home before you come into somebody's backyard and throw sand? Make sure that your grass is clean. That's it. That's all I had to say. Oh, I speak too much.
First of all, I apologize. My English is not be perfect, but I will try to put it in English because English is not my language. Yes. Yes. It's all right. I'm busy listening to you guys. First problem we have in Africa, no? The first problem, we don't have one blood in Africa. That's the first problem. We don't know our enemy. Who is our enemy? And how does our enemy work to destroy us as Africans? Because I don't count me as a not African. I'm an African already by nature.
Good morning, everybody in the panel. Okay. I just want to explain a little bit about the United Africa. I heard my sister, she was saying we can't unite here in South Africa. Point taken, right? But I need to explain something that maybe she need to take it into consideration. South Africa, for now, is a great basket of Africa. I don't know if you can understand this. So, if South Africa is failing to liberate nearest countries like Zimbabwe, Mozambique, their problem won't be resolved because while they are doing elections, the president of South Africa, you can see the crisis in Zimbabwe, but he's not doing anything. So this problem won't be end because South Africa is the great basket of Africa. So while we need to solve this problem, definitely if you think you can close the, you can wipe the water in the room while you didn't close the tap. So you keep on wiping, you can't solve the problem. So you need to close the tap, then wipe the room. So I think that's my take on it. Thank you so much.
Good morning to all. Good morning to also have been trying to listen. But one thing I want us to understand when it comes to issue of migrants, there are some specifics that we need to take into consideration. I was talking to some people, I think some few days ago, and said, okay, who are these illegal immigrants that you are talking about? Let's take South African neighbors as an example. I don't want to mention Zimbabwe, but let's start from Lesotho and Eswatini. Is there any border between the two to start with? Do they have any physical border, really? Because when you go to Far State in Eastern Cape there, you realize that people are just crossing left, right, center. Where is the border really? Where is that border? And I don't know, some South Africa do not know that if you are resided as a SADC, you don't need visa to come to South Africa. You only need your passport to come through. So that is that. And how many countries that? The entire, almost 20 or 25 of them, that doesn't need any visa to come to South Africa. You don't need visa. You just take your passport and walk in. So that is that. Now, in terms of to be documented, like you have rightly said, people have tried
to be documented in one way or the other. But what the department is saying is to be shocking. So all these facts, and it's very scary at the same time because people want to be documented. Nobody doesn't want to be documented. People that have the opportunity to come to South Africa are one way or the other to be documented. But the department fails them. How do we deal with that such? Thousands of people have been made illegal in this country. And what you have said, people want to go back to their country. The department said, no, you are not being processed again, go back again. When you go back to the country, to inside the city again, police arrested him and you are not documented again. He's been arrested. And you can see when the former minister was still there, he lost a lot of court cases. Why? Because things are not being done properly. That's the only department that's run by emotions, not by actually act of what is the act saying. And that is the problem. This notion of, people just come to South Africa. Do you know how many people that are coming to South Africa and going every minute? They are coming here and they are going every second. So this notion of that, people are coming, rushing to South Africa is a false statement. To me, it's a false statement. And we should, I don't buy the idea of saying that we want to unite Africa. South Africa belongs to South Africa. Unfortunately, foreigners find themselves in South Africa. And everybody, any person, regardless of where he comes from, if that person is involved in any crime, the authority will deal with it squarely. There's no doubt about it. And we're not shy about it. Anybody that finds himself in that wrong side should be dealt with. And that is what we are crying. So, in terms of come to South Africa and come and unite in South Africa, no. It's just that there's a platform that speaks about Africa. South Africa is the only country that celebrates African Day. So it's not like we came here to come and unite Africa in South Africa. No, there's a platform here in South Africa. And we embrace it. And we are doing it every year. Here in the city of Johannesburg here, we celebrate African Day. And it is there everywhere. The government celebrates it. So we can't take it for granted. So, and those are the things that we need to look into it and find out. Yes, there's history of unemployment in South Africa is everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So we need to find a way and see the best way that we can live together. And that is what I take. Thank you so much.